Alright. And suddenly they were all there for a second. Oh, David. In the shower? Oh yeah, baby. Ah, just a beautiful, beautiful man.
Damn it.
Uh-oh, you dropped the soap. Don't bend over! Wait, you can't see that from the shower.
Bullshit. God.
Sorry. I know that was supposed to be really serious, but how his reaction was so underplayed.
Laura?
David. Oh, it's not that bad, baby. Just a little bit of scarring. You're not even going to say anything now, David? That's okay. Whatever. Day in the rowboat. We get you that. That's fun. Sigh in the mind. What happened the day before? The experiment. And Chapter 5 bonus, of course. Alright, so we should probably head into the bathroom. The scene of the crime. Just so that he can talk about things. And I don't think we need to do sense today.
Those are mine.
Oh, yeah, those are yours. Or all of Laura's are in here. We don't need them at the moment. Towel, shower. Think about the shower. What did the shower
There's
make you
nothing
think?
in there now. Was Laura really here this morning?
Maybe you should try a bath next time.
I can almost picture Laura in that tub. She loved hot baths.
I bet she did. Alright. Alright, so let's head out, go down to the lab, because no doubt that will have a, the board will say what David wants us to do today. Or some of it anyway. He wants to go out to the park and have a memory of Laura out there, because, significant moments. But, it always looks like there's a note on the ground. It just annoys the hell out of me. Do I want the main lab or do I want the private lab? I think I want the private lab. It's like someone dropped a note so you'd be like, oh my god. Pardon me while I get my hand in my pants. I'm sorry about that. Alright, let's look at his board today. Okay. Oh, Samantha saw Laura at the top of the stairs of the foyer. She was wearing the white dress. Noon, Laura physically touched me this morning. While I showered, her hand touched me and moved as if it was alive. Lasted about 3 seconds. To do today, appointment with Dr. Ramstein. Check the RNG device. Repeat memory exercise for a new session with Laura. Use one of Laura's favorite places for inspiration. We can do that. First, let's check this. Okay, we're starting to get info. And DRN zip PC.
What is it, Laura? Keep going, darling. Give me a few more letters.
It's I think maybe it's like important. That could be danger. Or danger. If you took out the J. Zot PC. We will get... Oh. Household chemicals in direct link to asthma Interesting. But yes, let's have a little peekaboo at our There's a picture of Laura, of course. Wine steward, don't need to do any of those things today. Alright. Let's head out to Dr. Wait, did we actually ring Dr. Ramstein already? Because that's the question. There's no point in trying to just pop out to his house if there's no... Okay, well the phone's... Oh, so the phone is there.
I don't need to call right.
I don't need to call right now because I'm an annoying prick. I mean,
Good morning.
Morning.
How was your breakfast?
Fine. Is Samantha in?
She's at university. Would you like me to call her?
Actually, I prefer not to be disturbed. If she comes in, tell her that, will you?
Of course.
Wait. Okay, this is at the same day that, you know, that Samantha was getting around just a second ago. So it's kind of, you know, weird.
Simon's business card with his phone number.
We will need that. Not right now, obviously.
It's a business card from Inspector Pazer of the Oxford Police Department. He was the investigator.
That's nice. So yeah, so she's talking about, like, breakfast, but we already saw on the board that, that Sam's finding of seeing Laura on the stairs, or whoever it is on the stairs, has already happened. But it's the same day that Sam's getting around. So we have to assume that this is like the afternoon.
Dr. Stiles, it's very good to meet you.
Sorry to disturb you.
It's an honor. I remember when your Scientific American article came out, my colleagues and I were thrilled to see such open-mindedness in a leading neurobiologist.
As you can see, things have deteriorated since then.
Please, come inside.
Wow, that rain is actually quite a good sound
it
effect.
sounded important.
Yes, yes. That rain sound effect's actually quite good. Like when I thought it was raining outside for a moment there.
One thing you learn as a neurobiologist is that reality is subjective, like the story of the blind man and the elephant. One of my patients had a brain tumor and became convinced his wife was an alien in disguise. Everyone else saw an everyday housewife. He saw something horrible. What clues do we pick up from our environment every day that tell us how to perceive the world? One man sees a pile of logs, another a sleeping giant.
Perception is a slippery thing.
My wife, Laura, died in 2002, but the reality I chose was to keep her alive. In my mind and in my heart. I started experiments in an isolation tank to bring back as many memories of her as possible. Even the small and subtle ones. And I didn't give a toss what anyone thought.
And now?
The thing I didn't foresee was that Laura might actually come back.
I've suddenly got quite a chill. Perhaps you'll start from the beginning while I light the fire.
No fire, please.
Oh, please forgive me. I'll call for some tea. I'm quite anxious to hear what you have to say, Dr. Stiles. If you'd start at the beginning, please. It sounds fascinating. I've never performed any experiments with an isolation tank myself, but they may well concentrate certain energies. I'd be happy to help in any way I can. And I'd be very interested in your theories on the phenomenon, as a neurobiologist, if you'd be so kind.
Well, that wasn't really starting from the beginning. Although, I'm assuming that, wow, that's a rather messy cable set up underneath there. But I am assuming that, that in between David looking out the window and turning around, he actually told the story. And it was supposed to be a time cut, and they didn't do it. Yeah.
In cases that you're familiar with of hauntings, is it typical for the deceased to obsess over their deaths?
I'd say so, particularly if it was violent.
Laura keeps communicating about the accident. But I'm not sure if there's really something there, or if she's just fixated on that moment out of shock.
I know you'll leave no stone unturned finding out. If there's nothing to it, it will be clear soon enough.
Yes, of course.
Similar hauntings?
Have you heard of any similar hauntings, for lack of a better word?
Some of the elements, such as the way Laura communicated with you in the tank and the RNG message. These sound like classic communiques from the spirit world. But other things you've described, the moved nightgown, the form under the sheets, and most particularly the events at the university, those sound like PK activity, telekinesis. Objects being moved with the power of the mind. Are you positive all these manifestations are Laura?
Of course. One paranormal source is remarkable enough, much less two different ones. Don't you agree?
You have a point.
Well, actually, the rain is outside, but there appears to be raining in the game as well, which is what's confusing me. But yeah, no. It's raining outside. Oh, I'm a fool.
Studies done with dying and comatose patients have provided some interesting clues about consciousness. There are authenticated cases of the mind projecting itself from the body, witnessing things that occurred far away. If the mind can project itself from the body, then it's possible for consciousness to survive physical death.
Do you have a scientific explanation for how that might work?
Quantum
No.
theory suggests that three-dimensional space and time are essentially created by the brain in order to organize the masses of data that make up reality. The brain operates like a translation device, in the same way that a television set organizes bits of electronic data into an image. If the human brain creates space and time, then theoretically the brain could project the mind into the past or future, making itself essentially immortal.
But
That's
how would you
astonishing.
kill it?
I hope you intend to publish on this theory.
I'm still conducting my research. Is there any connection between psi activity and heat or fire?
Yes. Telekinesis in particular is very elemental. There's a classic poltergeist case that involved a young girl in the American heartland. The manifestations in her household all revolved around water. Water running down the walls of the house, seeping out of the wallpaper and welling up from the floors. Another classic telekinesis phenomenon is raining stones. And I recall reading about a shaman in East Africa who could make his victims burst into flames. It would
Yikes.
all suggest that telekinetic powers are drawn from the earth. But I'm not aware of any studies done on the subject.
Interesting. Tell me about the shaman.
Can you tell me more about the East African shaman?
I'll tell you what I remember. It's a well-documented case from the
Sorry.
early 1900s, researched by a member of the Society for Psychical Research. He was traveling in Africa when he ran across this shaman. He put the man through a variety of tests and reached the conclusion that the shaman was projecting electricity at strong enough levels to literally start fires, predictably and reliably. This notion seemed confirmed by the odd fact that when the shaman was wet, his fire-starting ability didn't work. Of course, in those days, experiments in electricity were all the rage, so you have to take that into consideration. Still, he made a compelling case.
I'm wondering if the events on campus aren't some kind of psychic residue from Laura's attempts to come through. If she's generating energy, it might get channeled in unpredictable ways.
I can't say, of course, but the energy involved in the campus events is so unusually powerful. It's unlike any spiritual communication I've ever heard of.
But you said yourself you've never dealt with a case that involved an isolation tank.
True. I'm quite curious to see where this is all heading, Dr. Stiles.
So am I. I'm curious where this is going. Now get out of here.
Thank you for your expertise, Doctor. There's one more thing. I was hoping you could give me some advice on how I might help Laura. Help her come through.
Dr. Stiles, I'm not sure what you mean by coming through. Earthbound spirits are trapped here because of some unresolved trauma or an inability to accept their own deaths. The goal in such a scenario is to free the spirit so that he or she can move on.
Move on? To what? Oblivion? I mean, what if Laura could be brought back?
But
Yeah.
what body would she inhabit? How could she interact with our world? All religions believe that there is some kind of afterlife, and
Yes, thank you, Doctor. I'm afraid it's getting quite late. I must go.
I do hope you'll keep in touch. I'd like to know how this develops.
Of course. Good day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Alright.